You're listening to Berks Weekly. My name is Jason Hugg, and today with me is Alexa from Berks Nostalgia. How you doing, Alexa?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in. So for people who don't know what Berks Nostalgia is, give them a little rundown.
So Berks Nostalgia is kind of like a comprehensive local history platform through my social media pages, my website, YouTube. So it's basically an overview of our local story in kind of new digital format.
Mm-hmm. Website then, and you share everything on Facebook too?
Yeah, so my website is pretty much long form written articles, and then I translate that to a video for YouTube where I kind of use like my drone footage and some ground footage for whatever I'm covering in the project, and then I share all that sometimes in short form or sometimes completely other stuff on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
So how did this whole thing get started? How did you get into featuring the different history, all the history of Berks County?
Yeah, well, I started Berks Nostalgia in 2017. At that point, it was kind of my own personal nostalgia with like the malls.
Oh, okay.
So like the Berkshire Mall at the time, Fairgrounds was kind of really struggling, but Berkshire was still doing pretty well at that time. And I kind of saw the need to document that process. Obviously, malls are kind of going by the wayside these days due to online marketing and tons of other factors. For me, it was really documenting that for my own generation who grew up going to malls and have really fond memories.
And like photos, videos, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so some of my first videos, if you go back on YouTube to 2017. Oh, yeah, they're still there. No, I keep them there. It's a good reminder of how far I've come. But I pretty much just walked around the mall with my phone and kind of took documentation of what was there and what it looked like at the time. And then it kind of spread into, just historical things in general, places, events, people. I would kind of mark the turning point was during COVID when we were, all stuck inside and I had a lot of time to kind of research stuff. I did a fully comprehensive series on the school systems in Berks County, and they all consolidated in like the 50s and 60s to create the districts that we know today. But prior to that, every town kind of had their own school system. So I kind of dove into that and put that together, the history of each of those schools.
And so in this process, I assume you learn a lot about
oh my gosh,
the different articles that you do and researching. And how long does it take to kind of put one of, do you call them articles, projects? What do you? Yeah,
it's a project really, because like I said,
I know it's a longer period of time to put these together.
Definitely, and it depends on like what it's on. Some are longer than others. Probably some of my longer ones can take weeks. I mean, that depends on how long it takes me to do the research.
Yeah.
But usually within a week or two, I have something to put out.
And where are you finding all the information for everything?
Yeah, so most of it I actually can do from the comfort of my own office at home.
Oh, that's good, like on the internet.
Exactly, yeah. I have subscriptions like newspapers.com, so I can search keywords and kind of get the chronological...
That makes things a lot easier.
A lot easier, yeah. It's like, otherwise I'd have to go to a library and look stuff up, and that would make it take a ton of time longer. And sometimes I do have to visit the library if there's something specific I need to look at. But for the most part, now I can sit there on my computer and just do the research that way.
So what are your favorite topics that you've kind of covered over the past few years? Because how long have you been doing this for?
So it really started going after COVID. So I would say 3-4 years I've really been at this. So my biggest and like most well-known to date was probably the Stone Man Willie thing.
Oh, right. Okay.
Remember that? Like a year, it was only like a year ago now. But when they announced that they were going to bury him, it was like April of before, because they buried him in October. It's been a year.
I guess it has been a year.
I know, it's wild. But yeah, so I kind of went deep into that, found everything I could through my searchable keyword newspaper articles and stuff. Then I did actually visit the library, and I didn't expect Berks History Center's library. I didn't expect to find anything that I hadn't seen. But it turns out that there was this scientific study that had been done on him in 2004. And the scientist responsible for that sent their findings to the History Center. But as far as I know, that was never reported on by our local media. I guess it would have been, that was 20 years ago. Yeah. It would have been like Reading Eagle, Reading Times at the time. And I was just like, how could, they did x-rays, they did MRI imaging, they were able to see his organs and stuff. And I don't know if you're familiar with the story of Snowman.
Yes, I read what you did,
right.
And just generally during that time, I tried to read up as much as I could.
Yeah, they thought he died of kidney failure, but it turns out the infection actually was in his lungs, so they thought it might have actually been a pulmonary thing, like tuberculosis, who knows at the time, right? But that, and I kind of called in my article for them to do DNA testing, because I was like, look, Theodore Allman preserved him with the intention that his identity would be found,
right?
So like 2023, we can finally do that. Let's bring some closure. So I wrote that in April. The funeral home said they weren't going to do anything. They weren't going to do DNA testing or identify him. Then, like a week before they buried him, they came out and said that they did identify him. And then you remember the media circus that was. Like, everybody was here.
It was more of an ongoing thing that kept
Well, it was that last week before they buried him.
Like, that's true too.
Yeah, I had like New York Times calling me and asked me for an interview and stuff like that. Yeah, it got crazy at the end there. But I mean, that's by far my most widely viewed video and article. So I would say that was my favorite project.
Yeah. Or any of, because I know you take, looking at your website here, you do a lot of drone images and photos and videos and everything. So that's a whole, I guess that really brings everything that you do to life, really.
Getting a drone was something I had talked about for, I don't know, a couple years before. I think I got it in July of 2022. So I've been doing it for a little over 2 years. Was it 21? I don't know. It's been a few years. And I knew it would bring a totally new, dynamic to the work that I do, especially when I'm profiling like buildings, architecture, stuff like that. I can really get up and see the details in some of these incredible buildings downtown that have all these intricate kind of decorations on them. So yes, the drone has definitely added an awesome layer. Has
using the drone added, or have you been able to cover topics more now because you have the drone, or has that added to what you've been able to put together?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it would. I don't know that that's a good question. I'm trying to think of anything it's let me cover that I wouldn't have already covered. I think it just adds, like I said, another dynamic to it. Like it gives
like
me
another tool.
It's an incredible tool in what I do to kind of get that perspective.
So what do you look for when you are looking for topics to cover?
That's a good question. I think I'm at the point now where I don't really have to seek much out. It kind of seeks me. People who own these buildings come to me and ask if I'll profile their business or their building, or let me walk through their building. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because week to week, following what you do, it's not very sporadic, but I'm sure there's a much bigger thing behind the scenes that you're able to kind of sort out what you do and don't cover, or where you're going with it, I guess.
And that and stuff that like pops up, like the Stone Willie thing popped up as it was happening. The building that collapsed up on, I think it was like North 4th, was it 4th? The old Wagon Works. Yep. When that happened, I was like, okay, now I need to dive into the history of what that was. So things pop up in that regard, but then, like I said, at the same time, people are kind of reaching out to me, asking me to profile stuff. And then I also have a community on Facebook, a group that is constantly posting and interacting with each other, and they kind of feed me ideas as well. So.
What kind of ideas do they give you?
Well, just like posting stuff. What was the last thing we talked about in there?
Yeah, not to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'd have to go look now. But I mean, they're always just posting pictures and kind of asking questions. So then I can, like, go look and find an answer. And when I end up doing this stuff, I end up falling down another rabbit. Like, that's just the nature of it. Like, I'll be looking into one thing and something else will pop up that's interesting. And then that'll be noted to look into as well.
Is there anything that... a topic that kind of comes up more often, or maybe something more, are people really interested in restaurants, or is it buildings, or is there anything in particular that people usually gravitate towards? Yeah,
I mean, I would say people gravitate towards things that they remember, especially fondly. A lot of stuff downtown, you're looking at restaurants, businesses where their parents and grandparents work. I mean, personally, I am fond of like the industrial era. So late 1800s into the mid 1900s is kind of how it's the era that I see Reading economically peaked and had the most going on. So that's typically what I gravitate towards too.
Okay.
In terms of interest.
Yeah. So are you involved in anything else in the community, or?
I am. I am on the board for the Foundation of the Reading Pagoda.
Oh, okay.
So I joined back in January. So obviously, Pagoda's been closed since COVID.
Yes.
And it's kind of been trying to figure out.
Although I was able to get inside a few weeks ago, and they did their little tour.
Okay, that's right. Too, I missed that. Yeah, I wasn't able to go that day.
Yeah, that was pretty neat being back inside there.
Right?
Because it's I guess since it was closed, the last time I was in there too. So
it's been a long time.
I remember being in what was even a little cafe, and obviously that's not really there anymore.
No.
And, but I remember what it was like.
Yeah.
But now it's basically just it's more like a museum. You can walk just through it and you can see everything.
Well, yeah. So one of the foundation's jobs obviously is to raise money for the repairs. They actually they just awarded the bids for the contract electrical and mechanical work. So I'm assuming the construction is going to start sometime shortly after New Year, and set to last a few years. So it's not going to be open again for a while.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fences are there to stay for a while.
Yeah,
so.
but we're excited about what's to come, and yeah. So one of my projects in this is I also have recorded a walkthrough, and I'm putting a video together, to talk about its history, talk about what's going on now, what's going to be going on in the future. Next week, actually, they're moving everything out. So another thing we've been doing. I was just
about to ask that.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of different
stuff, especially the upper floors.
Stuff is probably the best way to describe it.
A lot of junk,
pictures and a whole bunch of things. I guess I was going to ask if you were part of any of that.
Yeah, so we've spent the last few months cataloging and kind of going through what we can get rid of. It's been a lot. What can be thrown away, what we're putting in storage for the duration. So everything's moving out on next Tuesday, and we're going to be good to go. So it's exciting. It's good. We want to see this done. Like, we want it reopened. Like, obviously.
Oh, yeah, everybody does.
Yeah, it feels like it's been forever. But, I mean, obviously COVID kind of threw a wrench.
Now, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but when I was in there, they had the penny press machine, and they were saying that was moving to City Hall.
Yep.
Any word on that? Is that still happening?
Yes, it is. Okay. We are going to move the penny press to the lobby of City Hall. The last meeting they were talking about either putting it in the atrium or the lobby. So it's definitely going to be in City Hall. I'm not 100% sure. We'll announce.
That was even there.
Yeah. A lot of people ask about the penny press.
Yeah, and it's pretty neat. There's 4 different pennies you can press out of it, and different designs and everything too.
That's a cool souvenir. Yeah.
So I don't know how much that would really contribute to a donation.
1 penny at a time.
But a penny at a time.
Yeah, it's actually 51 cents. You got to put 2 quarters in too. But and in that same vein, actually tomorrow we are launching our online merchandise store. So we're going to do like an online gift shop. Yeah, Pagoda merch, Pagoda stuff. Stay tuned for that. I don't know when you're going to publish this, but it'll probably be open by the time people are listening.
Yeah. Well, what items? Just like shirts or something?
T-shirts. There's, all sorts of stuff. All sorts of apparel. There's kids and adults apparel. There's hats. There's like kind of glassware. There's, it's going to be all sorts of cool stuff. Go to readingpagoda.com/shop. There you go. There's my plug.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to derail the conversation to the pagoda. Anything else you're into in the community?
I'm trying to think what else. I'm also sit on the board of another nonprofit called Growing Wildflowers. We raise money for the families of medically complex children. So yeah, my cousin started that. She had a daughter who had a lot of medical needs, and unfortunately.
And that's local?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard
Berks
of that.
County.
So
It's relatively new. We've only been doing this for a couple years. 2 years.
Okay.
We host a big cornhole tournament every fall. It was in October.
So what does the future of Berks Nostalgia look like? What are you looking to do with it?
Well, that's a good question. I would love to get to a point where this is like what I do for a living.
Okay.
I mean, I realistically, I'm not sure. I recently started offering subscriptions on my website for, either $5 a month or $55 a year. You can kind of support the work that I do. And, the more I realistically can, I guess, do this, obviously I need to make it worth my time and energy. I feel like I have a skill set here. Like, yeah. I get it. You're also a, local creator kind of plugging away at this, and I appreciate what you do. You're out here covering a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, especially during election season, like you were out here covering all the, which, can we just talk for a second about how historic that was? How many visits we got from presidential, vice presidential, everybody was here. Yeah, you were like on the ground.
Each week I didn't know what was going to happen. If you would have told me a month before that at least the Trump campaign would be stopping in Berks County 4 separate times,
I know.
And that I would have said no way.
Yeah.
That's really weird. But and then having the Harris campaign here for different people, and although those weren't necessarily public events, but they were here, you know, and everything. And I mean, I would not have believed any of that, that we were going to be more of the focal point, especially in Pennsylvania.
I'll say focal point. Did they visit twice anywhere else? Like, is that like a thing that happens a lot? I
don't know, actually.
I feel like after it, I was like the only one. I kind of sat back and was like, this was crazy that they were here so much.
Yeah.
Us, Berks County. But I mean, it was cool.
Oh, very cool. Just long days.
Yeah, for you, yes, I believe it.
Yeah, very early in the morning, and then to basically late at night.
Yeah.
So especially the Monday before the election.
Oh yeah, that too. That's another layer of it.
I was at the arena at 5:30 a.m. to check in with Secret Service and do all the preset stuff. And then, and because then later on that evening, Harris showed up to the cafe in Reading. I mean, that was what, 7, 8.
Yeah. So you were literally at it all day.
So yeah, I went from the arena right over to that,
yeah.
And I literally had time to park the car. Then they cut off the area where I actually just drove through by the Sunoco and the Spring Street subway there. I just made it across there. They cut it off the traffic. And I just had enough time to walk right up, and she arrived.
Wow!
So
you nailed it.
Right. It was. There was no time just to kind of hang out and say, okay, I can do nothing. So.
Well, hopefully you got some sleep the next day.
Yes. Well, then there was election day.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I guess not. Okay, the next day.
Yeah, it kept going, so. But, I don't know if that really happened any other.
Well, historically, it hasn't. Like we've gotten visits from one candidate, but never both, and never presidential and vice president, both presidents and vice president candidates. So, so it was definitely making history for Berks County.
Yeah. Sure. Well, and that's when the BBC interviewed me. They came back the week before they were doing a whole tour. I don't think my section was ever aired, actually.
Oh,
so
that's a bummer.
Yeah, so I'll never hear any of it.
Yeah.
But one of the things I did tell them was that it was because they were, what is it like in Berks County and being a part of history type of thing for people around here. And I said, it seems like to me the sentiment here is it's very unexpected to suddenly be pushed into everybody coming here and asking you, what do you think of the election? And, and coming here in Berks County or Reading specifically to say, what do you think it's going to be? And what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
And that's not something this area is very known for and or expecting. And so I think they thought that was a very interesting perspective. Because I think they were looking for, it's going to go one way or it's going to go the other. And like, that's just what it is. And I'm like, no, I don't think people around here realize that that this is the people here are going to be deciding that as much as they think. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we knew for a while that it was going to come down to Pennsylvania would be one of the key, but Berks County within that, I don't know, it's just wild. We do sit kind of, and my point, when I was posting about this was that we sit kind of on the cusp of, urban and rural Pennsylvania.
That's right. You did a post about.
I did,
election.
And we are like a perfect representation, I think, of
for people who didn't see that, kind of run through that a little bit, how you covered it from your side of being more of the history.
Yeah, just like a historical perspective on it. I mean, like I said, there have been presidential candidates who have come here. Nixon, JFK was here. Truman, they've all come and spoken on the square. Typically, that was how it was done back in the day. They'd take a train in, they'd talk on the square.
You're talking about Penn Square here.
Yeah, Penn Square, right downtown. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then they'd leave. Like it was not a big, a lot of people were there. They would come downtown and watch, but it wasn't like a few hour event. maybe like a half hour or so. But to have, like I said, both presidential candidates, both vice presidential candidates, and then obviously, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance coming twice within weeks of each other. Mm-hmm. There's no that has never happened.
Well, especially then into the city.
Yeah.
Because I know previously in 2020, a lot of their focus was at the airport or other locations that were not in the city.
Yeah.
And this time it really seems like it really centered here in the city versus more in the county before.
Right. I mean, I guess some of that was Santander has the biggest, venue to hold people
logistics
in.
Stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, that's true too. So from my perspective, it was just acknowledging kind of how crazy it was, and acknowledging Berks County is kind of teetering on the edge of, like I said, urban and rural, and us kind of being a microcosm of America in general. And,
yes.
And we played a huge, whether or not the votes we cast here, made a deciding factor or not, but they obviously were all pursuing this area for a reason.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And, it's one thing, I forget who told me this a little while ago, but they said every 6 months or every, 8 months or so, there's usually some national headline that comes out of this area.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Berks County's funny.
So I don't know if that happens in other places. It just does feel like that kind of happens here, though.
Berks County, we all talk a lot of trash on we're hardest on ourselves, I think. And I think Berks County needs to give itself a little bit more credit. We've produced some of the most creative, athletic people that the country has ever known. We are, I feel, relevant and important in the larger scheme of things. Yeah, so it's wild.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happens, but
I don't know.
And I don't know what's coming in the future, right? That's the other
thing.
You
never know what's coming in the future, yeah.
That's the part of that it could be a whole bunch of different things, but anything else for the future of Berks Nostalgia that you want to cover or you want to do?
I guess we were talking about where I wanted to go. This really has started as a hobby for me. It's fun. I enjoy perusing like old newspapers and kind of reading things as they happened then and getting kind of that view of people who lived through those times experienced. I'll be doing this regardless of, where it goes.
Maybe a better way of phrasing the question would be, if you had everything you needed to do something like this, what would that look like then?
If I could clone myself 2 more times, I think I would have enough time and energy to pump out, regular videos, like the videos especially,
They're very well done.
Thank you. I'm wearing all the hats though. Like I'm doing the filming and the editing and the writing the script and and voicing over. So it's time consuming just for me to do it. So I enjoy doing all of it. I wish I could do it more, but we'll see.
And what do you do now as more of your full-time thing then?
So I guess first and foremost, I'm a mom. I have a 6 and a 3-year-old. So my older one just started kindergarten and my younger one just started preschool 3 afternoons a week.
No, it's an exciting time.
It is. Well, I'm starting to see the light, right, at the end of the tunnel. And, once they're in school, like the younger one gets in school more, I'll have my days back to kind of get more into stuff. I also do website development. I do WordPress content management system stuff. So that is what I do.
Yeah, so that's what everything's based out of, and you design the whole website. I design
the whole website. Yeah.
That's really neat. Yeah, it's a great website too, and everything. So thanks. Yeah. You mentioned how you just you have I guess subscriptions or memberships.
Yep, I do have that option.
How can people support you and get a hold of you then?
Yeah, well, if you just go onto my website berksnostalgia.com. And just scroll down one scroll, you'll see you can either sign up for free, which all of my articles will always get to the public one way or another. I do kind of early access. So when I publish an article, my members will see it first for a day or so. Okay. And then, I like the idea of history being for the public. I want the public to be able to understand and see and know our history. So I never want to hide too much behind a paywall. But yeah, I had a lot of people reaching out to me over the years, how can we support you, So I made it an option to do that. So I don't have a ton of extra content at the moment, but it's an option for people who like what I do and want to see me do more of it.
Of course, of course. Anything else that, as we're wrapping up, that you'd like to share about what you do? Or
I always love to hear from people. My emails on my website, there's contact forms you can reach that go right to my inbox. But my email is contact@berksnostalgia.com. So if you have any, thing you want to see me cover or, learn more about, feel free to reach out, and, I'll do my best.
And I also saw you sell merch on,
I do.
like shirts and other things like that. How?
Yeah.
Where did the concept from that come from? Because I see some of them are like schools or old schools that no longer exist anymore.
Yeah.
Or things like businesses that no longer exist.
Right. Well, that goes back to when I did that series on the schools that consolidated. So I do have a store. You can find that on my website as well. So the different merch is basically defunct places, like you said.
Right, okay.
So I think there's like a Reading Times shirt, Carsonia Park. There's all sorts of designs. I made them all myself.
Yeah, it seems pretty fun.
Yeah, they're fun. They're cool, like novelty gifts, stuff like that, and it helps again support my work. So
Alexa, thank you for being on the show, and I look forward to reading more on Berks Nostalgia in the future.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.